Welcome back to the Herbal Pharmacy. I am Dr. Tamitha Davis. I am a master herbalist. I'm also a naturopathic doctor. I am a first-time mom. I became a first-time mom at the age of 44. Wow, right? We talk about health and healing on this channel. We talk about herbal remedies. We talk about gardening. I will probably be talking about homeschooling because I plan on homeschooling my child. He's only 21 months old right now. We're already doing homeschool stuff, you know, when you're teaching your kids all the colors and blah, 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 blah stuff. So I'll probably be doing some stuff about homeschooling. So if that is your jam and you don't mind listening to a crazy, quirky, unprofessional doctor who sometimes has a potty mouth, I'm trying to work on that. But if you don't mind listening to me talking, and I squirrel a lot, that's why I try to keep notes. But if that's your jam, like, subscribe, comment, and let's dive into today's topic. I have already done a video on talking about stresses. There's 3 different types of stress, but I want to go over some symptoms of high cortisol with you. I first need to make a disclaimer. I need to start doing these in my videos, but disclaimer, this is just educational purposes only. I'm not here to treat, diagnose, or give you guys any advice. You need to seek the advice of your own healthcare professional before you take advice from anybody on the internet. So that being said, I'm just going to share with you my knowledge of high cortisol symptoms that I experience. We're going to talk about the symptoms of high cortisol. The thing you got to understand about cortisol, the hormone, it comes from our adrenals, and one of the things about cortisol is that it can disrupt other hormones. So you may be having symptoms that are your female reproductive hormone symptoms, like it could throw off your cycle, cause infertility. It also can disrupt your sleep. So a lot of people will start to treat those symptoms and not realizing that it can stem from cortisol being jacked up. And your cortisol can also affect your thymus and your thyroid and your serotonin. It can affect your whole entire body, okay? So that's why I'm really wanting to dive deep into this stressor. Also your immune system, okay? So knowing all that, that's why a lot of these symptoms that we're seeing of high cortisol can mimic or be the same symptoms as some of these other things. So like sleep disturbances, okay? You're not getting enough melatonin. It's because it's disrupting all of your other hormones. So feeling tired all the time, having fatigue, you're like, oh, I just can't, might get up and go, got up and went. That can also be due to women's low estrogen. Your cortisol gobbles up your estrogen. Okay, so you may be having that weight gain. Not having enough estrogen can also cause you to gain weight. So having high cortisol levels can rob you of your estrogen and cause you not to be able to lose weight properly. Having irregular periods, mention that one, low libido, low blood pressure or high blood pressure. Oh, joys. Salt cravings, sugar cravings, hormone imbalances, talk about that, thyroid dysfunctions. So you could have hyperactive thyroid or hypoactive thyroid. Those can be symptoms that, you know, you'll go into the doctor and they'll treat you for a thyroid condition when actually the root cause of it was coming from some sort of stressor in your life throwing off your cortisol levels. So let's talk about some of the things, these 3 stressors that is throwing off your cortisol levels, okay? And I talk about these quite often. There's your physical stress, there's mental emotional stress, and then there's chemical stress. So the physical stress, some of those can be over exercising, lack of sleep. You know, I took care of my baby. I took care of a sick, dying mom for 6 months. So I don't think I slept like at all for 6 months. chronic illness, inflammation, blood sugar crashes. Cortisol has a huge effect on your insulin levels. So those are things that's physical stresses. So mental, emotional. So if you have anxiety, mental trauma, like financial pressure or job or relationship issues or loss of a loved one, constant worry and things like that for your mental, emotional. Then you have your chemical stressors. This is huge, okay? This one can store into your fat cells, and your body can't eliminate these as easily, because when we're stressed out, we just kind of hold on to all that, so we're gaining weight, and then we have all these chemicals stored in our fat cells. So think of processed foods, sugar, toxins, mold, synthetic fragrances that we're putting on our bodies, spraying in the air, our hair care, skin care, cleaning products, caffeine overload, alcohol overload, breathing in toxins outside. We go outside and, you know, there's chemicals everywhere. They're spraying chemicals on foods. They're spraying chemicals, like in the wintertime, they're spraying the roads right now to keep them de-iced. So all these chemicals are affecting our cortisol levels, and so isn't the mental, emotional stressors and the physical stressors. So what can we do? What can we do to help lower these cortisol spikes and get our bodies back into balance? How can we help our adrenals to not be overloaded? So herbal wise, you can take ashwagandha, you can take things that will help to detoxify your liver, like milk thistle, burdock root, dandelion root, things that have some berberine in it, yellow dock, really good for cleansing out the liver. Doing lemon juice in the morning with water, apple cider vinegar, taking that to help balance out your acid in your body, helping to, you want to support your immune system as well. So making sure we're eating a lot of leafy greens, getting our vitamin C. There's a lot of vitamin C in like green peppers, bell peppers. Just making sure that we're just really supporting our vitamin C levels, and our immune system is going to help, because if we have high cortisol levels, you're going to start to see some of these autoimmune diseases spikes. You know, whenever I was stressed out, that's why when you have a stressful moment, a lot of people, their autoimmune systems flare up because their body is bombarded with the high cortisol levels and your immune system is being compromised. So thinking of cleansing foods and thinking of meditations and things like that to relax your body. You want to relax, you know, to help with your digestive system, not eating all the processed foods, heavy to digest foods and stuff. You want to start off with a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables. That way you can get your vitamins and minerals in there. You need vitamins and minerals to replace what your cortisol spikes has been robbing, because every time you have an adrenaline spike, it actually pulls all your vitamins, minerals, and nutrients. It needs that in order to make that spike. That's why a lot of people who are suffering from autoimmune diseases, anxiety, depression, and stuff are depleted in essential vitamins and minerals like magnesium, potassium, or B vitamins. So we want to make sure we're replenishing those and eating lots of fruits and vegetables to help regulate that. And we want to make sure we're getting sunshine. We need vitamin D to help with our immune system, so we want to get out into the sun. The lighter you are, the longer you need to be out in the sun. And I know right now it's winter time, but we need to try to get out there as much as possible. We need to be exposing our skin. It doesn't help if we're going out all bundled up. Having those cold splashes outside would be beneficial. It helps to boost up your immune system. There's a guy called he's the Iceman. I think he's called Wim Hof, W-H-I-M-H-O-F-F, Wim Hof. And he actually goes and does polar plunges. Or, you know, if you're in a shower, you take a nice warm shower, and then you just blast yourself with cold water. So that's going to help reset your parasympathetic nervous system, your vagus nerve, and help to reset things in your body and help to lower your cortisol levels. Grounding yourself outside, getting yourself barefoot on the grass, having meditation, yoga, light exercise. We don't want to do extraneous exercises, because that can actually make your cortisol levels worse, and you don't want that. So you want to do like walking, yoga, things like that. I mentioned going for a light bike ride, not mountain biking up a hill or anything like that. Swimming would be really good. Doing Pilates. You can do some Taebo. So things like that. I'm trying not to do a whole lot of editing, so I may be rambling. And I do have notes, so that's why I'm looking down, because I want to try to keep on track here. So hopefully that gave you guys a good starting point on how to reset your cortisol levels. You need to get the sleep, you guys. We as women, we need 9 hours of sleep, and I know sometimes that's very, very hard to do, especially when you got children and you got to work. So we need to do that as best as we can. Try to get sleep. Sleep is so important for resetting our cortisol levels and making sure we're not eating before bed. We do intermittent fasting, so our body is not spending so much time digesting things, and just really like taking a couple weeks to eat plant-based. You know, lots of leafy greens, doing smoothies, doing green juices like that for a couple of weeks, and then you start incorporating some other cooked foods into your diet, but make sure they're easy to digest. All right, you guys, if you guys would do me a favor, please hit the thumbs up button, leave a comment. This helps pushes my videos out to the algorithm, and I'm working on trying to do better videos. I just don't have a whole lot of time for editing and stuff, so I ramble a lot. And you know, it's okay, I ramble. Somebody's coming down the hallway here. So anyway, you know what to do. Hit all my buttons, please. Push my buttons.